Joining me in the paint is Brian Anderson from rantsports.com, NBA writer. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. Anderson035. Brian wrote an article yesterday about Kevin Durant, and the title of the article is Kevin Durant is lacking killer instinct. I read it, Brian, and some parts I agree, some parts I don't. But the first thing I want to ask you is, why do you think Kevin Durant lacks a killer instinct?
Well, I've been a Thunder fan, Sonics fan since about '92. So I've watched him shy away from big shots when he's doing bad in the game. So on the other hand, you have Russell Westbrook, who, if he's doing bad, he continues to strive for greatness. You know, no matter what anybody thinks, he's focused. You know, he has that killer instinct. I think Russell has the killer instinct, but Durant's lacking it, and you can see it in big times, in big moments. When he's having a bad game, you know, he'll pass it to Russell, and he'll put it on Russell. And people want to judge Russell for picking up that KD moment, they say, and taking too many shots. But, I mean, KD's always taking more shots than Russell Westbrook statistically, and you can't take that away from him. So if Kevin Durant's not ready to take a shot, that's on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant needs to just, you know, get with Jordan, Kobe, Russell, Iverson. Those guys had that killer instinct to put that game on their back. And it carried our team. I mean, Durant, from watching him for so long, I just don't see it. I don't feel it. It doesn't show in his face. It doesn't show in his game. Although he's a great player and he can score, he's not trying hard enough. He took six three-point attempts a game. He averaged that last season. That's far too much for any player, especially of his caliber. 6 3-point attempts? Come on. You know what I mean? It just shows. I see it. I mean, not every game, but a lot of games, you know, it's there.
But would you agree that, look, I have to say this, though, about both Durant and Westbrook. I've said countless times on this show that, you know, it's both equally Durant and Westbrook, because Westbrook can get out of control at times, and I feel like Durant gets out of control at times, too. I actually see it different, honestly. I think Durant is over-aggressive at times, because I don't think you can lead the league in scoring without being aggressive. I think you do need a killer instinct. They used to say the same thing about Tracy McGrady when he was in Orlando, but McGrady would average 32 a night. I mean, you got to have some killer instinct to average that much a night, in my opinion. Do you think that the system has any part in Durant and Westbrook and the Thunder offense and their team success? Or do you think this is just all a player issue with Durant and it's really, he is the major setback? Is that what you see?
Yes, what I see is it as a fair issue, big time, because, you know, if Durant wanted more shots, he goes to Scott Brooks and says, look, you're running the play for me right now. I don't care. You know, the NBA has lost that type of player. Kobe, okay, LeBron won't do it. But Jordan, no, he's in your face. He's like, I want this ball and giving it to nobody else but me. Kevin Durant has to step up. He has to drop that Mr. Nice Guy role and get some pure or something that he needs to get that in him. Because you can't blame it on the system, because late in the game, Scott Brooks is going to run some plays for Russell Westbrook as well. And Kevin Durant has to step up and be like, look, Russ, I love you, but we know who the best player on the team is, and it's me. And I'm taking these shots. You know, the shots that Russell Westbrook takes, most of the time, it's a play run for him. It's his play. So you can't take that away from Russell. But if Durant was to step up and take more shots and wanted the ball more, then the coach would, come on, Scott Brooks would be like, okay, brother, you know, we'll get to see it. You know, Jordan went to Phil Jackson, just loud, angry, and just showed how bad he wanted it. He can get it. Durant, you don't see him on the sideline. When you see Durant on the sideline blowing up at his culture, or gagging for the ball, you know, he might raise his hand and get frustrated and flail his arms around when he doesn't get the ball. but that's it. Because as far as he goes, he gets a little angry, but no, you have to get that ball. You pass it to Westbrook, you tell him to pass it right back to you when I get open on the moving screen or something. He just doesn't do it. It's a parrish. It just is.
But I don't think that's fair to say because you can go out there and point to games where, uh, let's say if it's a game-winning situation, last shot, one night Durant takes it, the next night Westbrook takes it, and then people will put the blame on Westbrook and say he's a more aggressive player, he should take it. I personally think that that's wrong to say that because if you look at Michael pre-championship era, he was the main scorer. I mean, he scored 63 against Boston, but that didn't lead to a championship. That didn't lead to victory. You look at LeBron pre-Miami era, and it became like a solo show with him, and he got to the finals once but couldn't get over the hump. To me, it's coaching and it's a system issue. When Jordan was placed in the triangle, he caught the ball in scoring areas where he could operate. Same with Kobe. When LeBron met Spoelstra, same thing. LeBron caught the ball in the post time and time again. I don't feel like Scott Brooks really puts both Durant, Westbrook, or any of the other scorers in a good position to succeed. Do you see any of that at all, or because you think it's 100% Kevin Durant?
I'm not there to say whether it's 100% KD, 50%, but it's an issue within himself, and he needs to overcome. Look, you got Kobe Bryant, for instance, who's taken 20 shots or more, 20 shot attempts or more in a season, 9 out of the last 10 seasons. Kevin Durant has only taken 20 shot attempts or more twice thus far in his career. Kobe even once out took 27 shot attempts in a season per game. Durant has yet to eclipse 20. You have to at least get within the range of 23. Jordan averaged 22 shot attempts in his career. KD's at 19. Come on, KD. Step it up. Try a little more. Give a little more. Want a little more. And you will get results. If you take some more shot attempts, you will get results. It's not a coincidence he averaged 32 points a game, taking more shot attempts than he's ever had, than he's had in recent years. It's going to be, you're going to see the numbers. The numbers are going to show. They're going to show. It's common sense, man. He just has to take more shot attempts. He has to be more aggressive. He has to get that killer instinct. I'm saying killer instinct means shot attempts. It's a mentality. But with that comes driving to the basket, not giving up, being more aggressive on defense. It will change his whole game. It will change everyone's perspective of it. It will get him a title. I know it will. I just know it will. Russell has it. He needs to learn something from Russell. I mean, anything he can do, man. He can just learn something from Russell Westbrook. People think Westbrook's there to hurt Durant and he's hurting Durant's game. No, not at all. He needs to learn something from Russell. He needs to, hey, Russell, man, what's your approach, man? What's in you that makes you just, when you're not even playing good, you still take these shot attempts. You still drive. You never give up. You're angry. You see Russell Westbrook angry on that court. You just don't get that with KD. I don't like it. A lot of people just say, okay, Kevin Durant, he's Mr. Nice Guy, that's how he is. No, he needs to change. If he wants a championship, like that game in San Antonio when Russell scored 40 points, Grant, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals, and Harry Jordan was the only player to ever do that. That shows me the difference between them. And I'm wondering if Westbrook's the guy to keep in the long run because he's the one that's out there trying, giving it his all every game, and KD is not.
So, according to your logic, Kevin Durant doesn't play hard every night.
No, he does not. When Kevin Durant is not shooting, he has this thing, when he's not shooting well, he has this thing where he's just not going to shoot anymore. And he's going to let Russell Westbrook take over, and Russell sees it. Russell takes advantage of KD because he he's not shooting well, he'll take 10 shot attempts and leave it at that. If he's having a bad first half, chances are Kevin Durant's not going to turn on in the second half. So if he has like an okay first half, then he's going to do his thing in the second half. If KD's shooting bad, that's how the Knicks want to go. He starts off shooting bad in the first quarter, most likely his game is going to go that way. If he's shooting good, he's going to have a good game in the first quarter, and he's going to have a good game. But you don't see KD too often having a bad first half, then turning it up in the second half, scoring 30 or 40 points, like Jordan and Kobe and Iverson used to do. It's just discouraged. Easily. Too easily.
Okay, but I don't think. Okay, first of all, I disagree with you there. I don't think it's a matter of playing hard. Because I think, first of all, I think Durant plays hard. And you talked about also LeBron and how he kind of. You said that LeBron has more of a killer instinct, but he has trouble to be aggressive in key moments. But to me, you can't. They're totally. Okay, let me ask you this: do you think Larry Bird was an aggressive player?
Larry Bird was an exceptionally great player, so like KD is like Larry Bird. Larry Bird wasn't exactly the most aggressive guy, but he could have been a lot better. He could have been the best player of all time. Maybe if he did have that killer instinct like Jordan. Jordan. What was that?
No. Go ahead.
KD is great enough to get the MVP, but he's not great enough to win an NBA championship right now. Like, Bird had a great team, with this Bird and Durant situation, they would probably be the same exact type of player, but he doesn't, KD, come on, doesn't have the help Larry Bird had with the Celtics. It doesn't. Probably never will, so he has to get that killer instinct. Jordan has all the help in the world, but he had that killer instinct. Kobe didn't have all the help in the world, but he had that killer instinct. He had another guy with killer instinct, that's Shaquille O'Neal. So that's why they won so many championships. And the Spurs, collectively, as a unit, had that killer instinct from their coach. Their coach doesn't let them just get discouraged. He keeps them exercised at all times. And that's why they're there as a unit works so well, because they all have like the same mentality. Like that we're not losing mentality.
But I don't think anybody goes into a game, especially as a professional basketball player at the highest level. We're not talking about, this is the NBA we're talking about. This is not any pro league from a different country. This is the highest level in this profession. And I think it's just unfair to say MVP doesn't have killer instinct because, he hasn't won a championship yet. I mean, you look at Kobe and I could say his killer instinct, makes him an out-of-control player at times. I could say...
That's the same with Russell Westbrook. Same thing with Russell Westbrook, but you have to decipher what killer instinct really is, and that may mean out of control at times, but that's okay. KD needs to get a little bit of out of control in him. He needs to get a little bit of that out of control in him.
But
that shows you have some killer instinct. That shows you're willing to make some mistakes when you're doing bad. You're not going to look at it like, oh, everybody loves me, so I'm not going to look too bad. No, you don't care. You keep on driving, you keep on shooting. With defense, placed in defense, you shoot. You don't pass off the Russell who you know has got the killer instinct and he's going to take the shot and win you the game. Because he does that far too often. Without Russell Westbrook, KD couldn't be on his own team and lead his own team to a championship. I mean, he has a good team. Like when Russell Westbrook went down, KD stepped up. He showed more killer instinct than he's ever had before in his life. But it just seems like when Russell gets there, he wants to fall back on Russell. You can't do that.
I disagree because I don't think personally, and I said this before early in the interview. I think both Durant and Westbrook, I'm saying both equally are over aggressive in their own rights. I think the biggest issue with the Thunder is the lack of bench scoring, the lack of ball movement, the lack of spacing, and I think you really have to point. And I put that on the coach because I put that on the coaching staff because this is, by the way, the Thunder. They're one of the most talented teams in the league. If you look at top to bottom, their whole entire roster, you have all the athleticism in the world. You got a lot of great skill sets, but I don't think that Scott Brooks and company, they haven't done a great job tapping into the Thunder's potential. And I feel like they struggle in key moments because they become solo acts and it just becomes stagnant. We saw it in San Antonio, versus San Antonio in the Game 6, the last game, it started to become such a, chaotic show. It was all over the place, taking bad shots early in the offense. That's what I see. I don't think it has anything to do, because I could say this, and I never, and people might not agree or they might not believe me, but I don't think LeBron deserved the criticism in 2011 for losing in the finals, because he was he was playing against a Dallas team, played a zone defense, and Miami couldn't adjust. But once they finally adjusted and they got their team chemistry right, everything was fine. I think the killer instinct thing is kind of a media label that is overplayed, because it hurt. The killer instinct can hurt both ways. It hurt Jordan early on. It hurt Kobe early on when Kobe played against Utah and got swept, and he took bad shots the last 2 minutes with Del Harris as the coach. I think it is an overused term, and I don't think it is appropriate to put all the blame on one person. That's the biggest problem we do in the media.
No, not on one person. It's not. It's a big deal. It really is. But the Thunder's biggest problem is their shooting guard position and their center position. That's their biggest problem, because you have two players totally wasting. Now, I'd say totally wasting two positions. That's a problem. You have Kendrick Perkins wasting the center position. You have Pablo Cephalosha wasting the shooting guard position. You're getting no scoring out of them players. Nothing.
Okay,
You're wasting at least 10 points a game.
let me ask you this. Do you consider Dennis Rodman a great scorer?
No.
But he was a key pivotal part in the Bulls championship runs.
But Kendrick Perkins was never Dennis Rodman.
But what
Cephalosha was never Dennis Rodman.
But let me just say this. I think Cephalosha kind of gives them flexibility defensively, because he actually puts less of the defensive stress on Westbrook and Durant, because Cephalosha guards the best player on the other team. So I think that's a luxury for Oklahoma City.
They have enough defensively. They need to get an offensive flow going. They need to get a flow, like you said, get the ball movement, and that means you need better offensive players at those positions to get the flow going. If they got Kyle Gasol, do you know how fluently that offense would go? Like, it would be sick if they had Kyle Gasol going in the middle, going in the lane. He's in the lane with the ball. Kevin Durant can cut. Westbrook can cut and get a nice dive from a big man. They don't have that option, and that means so much. Like when the Kings had D-Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that offense just flow because of that man. The Thunder need something from that center position, and it could be Steven Adams. It really could be Steven Adams. If you take all the Thunder needs to do, watch people see when Savo's gone. So that's great. That is great. Kendrick's going to be gone. So with them two players going, watch how better this offense is. I promise you, they will be a lot better. Just I don't care who you plug in at those positions. You got Jeremy Lamb, you got Steven Adams. You plug those two players in, the Thunder will be better than they have ever been. Trust me.
Well, I agree with you there, but I just think that the Thunder, if you think about the amount of talent they have, I've seen a lot of, you know, teams, or we've seen a lot of teams with way inferior talent go all the way and win the NBA Finals. And then you look at Oklahoma City and you say, they're one of the top five most talented teams in the league, but they never win. They've never won a championship yet. Well, what I'm thinking is it has to be the system then, because it's
But
not.
they're young. They're still learning. They're totally young. They have time. Like, and they could lose for the next 2 years and then reel off 3 straight. And then people be like, the years before it didn't matter because they're going to get to a point. They're going to start racking up championships. You can't tell me they aren't because
Uh,
LeBron's going to be going and KD's still going to be at the top of his game. LeBron's going to be at the point where he's, diminishing a little bit. And Russell Westbrook's going to be there when they're not even in their prime yet. Wait till they get to their prime and then really start judging them on championships. Not while they're still growing even as a team. They don't have their championship team together. The Spurs have their championship team together. They've had them for a long time. So, they went through a lot of ups and downs, but they still had their core. The Thunder never had that core. And this season could be it once they get Steven Adams and Jeremy Lamb in that lineup. Lamb's going to be good.
no,
Lamb's going to be a good player.
I agree, but if you look at their team, they've had a core. They've had a core. Westbrook, Durant, Cephalosha, Ibaka, and Perkins have been there from pretty much day one. If you,
Perkins and Cephalosha have been draining from this team. They have been taking so much from the Thunder. I know it, man. I see it. They have taken so much. The Thunder could have went in any different direction. They probably would have had a championship. There's any other players, two defensive-minded players that you really just don't need at all.
I disagree.
I don't see it. I don't see what Kevin Durant and Alpha Cephalosha really did for the Thunder, man. But it hurt them.
Well, I guess we're gonna.
Away from their offense.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to agree to disagree, because that's a.
That's fine.
Thank you, Brian Anderson. You can always check out his work at rantsports.com. Check out his articles. Brian, thanks again.
No problem. Good talking to you.
All right, see you.
All right, later.